as I'm thinking about the consciousness of unity, I'm thinking about the rich truth that all of us are never separated from the power and the presence and love of God. And though we may feel a sense of separation from time to time, some more than others, underneath that sense of separation, which is a lie, by the way, we live in a field of unity with the oneness of the limitless love intelligence that governs everything. And I think about the fact that when we speak of consciousness, we must always delineate the difference between our consciousness and the content that is flowing through. I always like to, in my presentations, remind people that there is a difference between consciousness and content. Just as there's a great difference between the ocean and the content of the ocean. The ocean is H2O, it's water. And there's content in the ocean. There's pollution, mainly from human beings. There's fish, there's seaweed, there's all manner of things that are plankton, all manner of things that are in the ocean. But that which is in the ocean and passing through the ocean is the content of the ocean. The ocean is the ocean. Well, we are avenues of awareness. We are pure awareness. We are pure God consciousness. And then there's the content passing through. There's opinions, there's points of view, there's positionalities, and there's interpretation of past experiences. There's projections into the future. There's all manner of things that are moving through our consciousness that are not our consciousness. Now, when we begin to have spiritual practice, something happens when we're able to discern that the content is not us, that what we are is consciousness, that what we are is awareness itself. And when those insights occur, when those revelations occur, when those aha moments occur, when those satori moments occur, those moments are moments in which the eternal is breaking into time as our awareness. We become extemporal, out of time. And in that moment, that is the moment of moving into enlightenment, moving into having a revelational moment. So the work that we're doing, the work play, as I like to call it, is to provide ourselves with a level of spiritual practice where we become candidates for such insight, where we become aware that we are awareness itself, candidates for such rich, luminous revelations. And then we have a level of practice where we stabilize those insights. They're not just fly by night. They're not just moments of memory of something that's happened in the past. Oh, I had a great moment with God and now it's gone. No, our spiritual practice illuminates that we are awareness with the ability to choose. Choice is a function of expanded awareness. And we learn to stabilize and integrate those moments of the eternal breaking into time. We integrate it so that they are embodied, so that we are embodied revelations of that which is real, which is an underlying sense of unity, oneness with the great power, the great presence, the great love of God Almighty, all beauty, all joy, all power, limitless love, intelligence. And so with that awareness, we might be asking, how do we stabilize an insight? Well, first of all, let me define an insight. An insight is an event that happens in our consciousness where we incrementally or suddenly become aware of or know something that we previously only believed. So we may have a belief system that leads us to a level of spiritual practice, primarily being meditation, affirmative prayer, life visioning, hanging with high-minded people in spiritual community, as we're doing here in Recitation. But so an insight is that moment where the eternal breaks into time, you see. Now we want to stabilize that insight. How do we stabilize that insight? One, we localize the cosmic celebration. Two, whole soul devotion. Three, surrender. Four, activation of potential. Let's break that down. Number one, And stabilize, number one, we're localizing a cosmic celebration. We're coming to an awareness that the entire cosmos is in celebration, that it gets to participate in the realm of the divine. And what are we doing? We're localizing the cosmic celebration, so that we're allowing ourselves to get a real sense that there's a celebration going on. And I don't mean frivolity. I don't mean just a simple party. Every square inch of creation is in cosmic celebration, that it's alive, that it's awake, that it's a grand participant in the realm of divinity. And our role as spiritual beings having a human incarnation is to localize that celebration. That is to be a walking revelation of the cosmos. We have a place in the universe, and our place in the universe is to represent the entire cosmos according to our unique pattern. Now, with increasing advancement of technology, there's sometimes an alienation from nature, an alienation from each other, and an alienation from God. We're seeking to embrace, in the moment of localizing the cosmic celebration, embracing Mother Nature at every chance we get, embracing each other with a gentle bow to everyone that we meet and greet, not necessarily walking down the street bowing, but every time we see a human being, every time we see a sentient being, there's an inward bow to the consciousness of God that's inside of that being. We're bowing. So any sense of alienation from humanity is dissolving, because we all know that saying we love humanity is abstract. We have to love the humans that we see and think about. We bow. And so, and then we embrace the presence of God. No alienation from God, the God of our understanding. We constantly yield to this presence. So first, localize the cosmic celebration. Get a sense every single day when you wake up that there's something to celebrate. There's something good about to happen. There's something good perennially happening. We're just seeking to be receptive to it, to be available to it, to be open to it, to say yes to it, to live in the divine and sacred yes, that there's something to celebrate, so that the very body temple vibrates at that level, and the tonic chemicals flow through the body temple, and the immune system is stabilized, and the coherence of the brain happens, and the stabilization of the blood pressure takes place. Oh, there is something to celebrate. Even in the midst of great changes going on in the world of phenomena, there is something that is ever the same and is always seeking to emerge by means of us. That is the great God of the universe. Secondly, whole soul devotion. We must find that place within us and continue to nurture that place within us in which we are wholly devoted to this presence that is never in absence. The two greatest technologies are sincerity and earnestness. Sincerity is the purity of our motivation. Whether we're starting a business, whether we're entering into a relationship, whether we're working out our body temple, whether we are entering into proper nutrition for the body temple, there's a sincerity of motivation. We do not work out our body temple for vanity. We don't open up a business just for profit. We don't enter into a relationship just to satisfy our hunger. The purity of motivation means that everything that we do is for the purpose of reflecting and revealing the cosmos as only we can, to enter into the love ethic. So our motivation is pure, to be an instrument of the divine presence. We start our business to be of service. We enter into a relationship to perfect our loving. We take care of the body temple, that the body temple can increase its capacity to hold more cosmic energy, so that we can be of greater service to birth the beloved community on earth as it is in the mind of infinite intelligence. So one, in purity of motivation. That is sincerity. Second is earnestness. Earnestness means that we have some level of spiritual practice that we practice on a regular basis. Get this, whether we feel like it or not. That's earnestness. Earnestness means I wake up and do my devotion. I wake up and do my practice. I wake up and I enter into a state of meditation. I wake up and I do my study. I wake up and I have a degree of fellowship with like-minded people in spiritual community. We have a level of earnestness because there will be moments in our humanness where we just won't feel like it. It's not a good day. We don't feel like it. The mind is cloudy. The body is tired. The emotions are raw. We don't feel like it. But earnestness makes us do a modicum of our spiritual practice anyway. Think of yourself perhaps as an Olympic champion. And when that Olympic champion is practicing their particular event, they'll wake up every single day and they'll swim the amount of laps they are to swim. They'll run around the track the amount of laps they are to run around that track. And they do it whether they feel like it or not, because they know the end result of that is that they will be in shape and they will have a level of practicing the fundamentals to such a degree that they'll become subconscious and subjective. They also know that when they begin the practice, even if they don't feel like it, added energy kicks in and they end up loving to do it even when they began to feel that they didn't want to do it. Sincerity and earnestness helps you stabilize the insights that are occurring based on your desire to wake up and to catch the sense of unity and your oneness with the presence that is never an absence. So there is this localizing cosmic celebration. There is whole soul devotion that leads to surrender. Surrender is a powerful word. It's a powerful way of living a surrendered life. Doesn't mean waving the white flag. It's not in this terminology, it's not a battle cry. It's not a war language. I surrender, I give up. No. Surrender means I am giving my life over. I'm yielding the vital nerve center of my consent, as Dr. Howard Washington Thurman would describe it. I'm yielding the vital nerve center of my consent to the next stage of my own evolution, my own unfolding. That I'm involved in transformation. Trans means to go beyond the present formation of my life, physically, mentally, emotionally. I'm going beyond that particular formation, which is the condensation of previously held point of view. It's the artifact of previous points of view and opinions and positionalities and perspectives. I'm going beyond that. I'm surrendering, yielding, like the caterpillar yields to the butterfly, and the butterfly becomes a new creature in the mind of God. We are surrendering, living a surrendered life, saying in substance that there's more. The presence of God is infinite, and the presence of God being infinite wants to emerge as me. I surrender to it, I yield to it. Now, of course, we bump up against the dynamic of the egoic perception that does not know the difference between enlightenment and annihilation, because the egoic perception does not carry with the unknown. It doesn't live in the unknown. It's afraid of the unknown. However, we on our spiritual path celebrating, coming into localizing the cosmic celebration, coming into a deep sense of devotion and surrendering, living a surrendered life. The unknown is our friend. The unknown carries such goodies because it's outside of our present paradigm. Our present paradigm, we know our present paradigm. We take our cue from our present paradigm, but it's outside of our present paradigm, our present way of thinking, that the infinite nature of God gets to come and express through us in a most powerful, magnificent, majestic, and beautiful way. And so surrender, we start to love the word surrender. I'm yielding the vital nerve center of my consent to that which is within me that I don't even have words for, that it is beyond my wildest imaginings, but it is magnificent. It is beautiful. Why? Because the presence of God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And the presence of God never contradicts nor compromises its own nature. It doesn't change up on itself. It is beyond the human concept of good. It is the all good that is consistent with itself. And so the unknown carries more and more and more and more and more of that which is of the all good that is seeking to emerge through you and through me in our life, in our relationship, in our business enterprises, and all the things that we would be about to activate what? Our potential, which is that fourth dynamic. Remember, we're here to localize a cosmic celebration. We're here to invite ourselves into a whole soul devotion to this presence that's closer than our breathing and nearer than our hands and feet, more real than the very chairs we're sitting on, with a great degree of sincerity and earnestness. We're here to live a surrendered life that allows us to understand what Meister Eckhart meant, the great mystic, when he said that I see God through the same eye that God sees me. That great surrender allows the depth of unity to take hold and be active in us. And then we live to activate our potential. Do you know how important this is? It means we wake up in the morning, go to bed at night with a desire to have the latency, the latent potential be activated. And that governs your intention. It governs the thoughts that you obtain in your awareness. Remember, we don't just think thoughts, we obtain thoughts. We obtain thoughts from the sea of mental garbage, which are thought forms emerging from humans who have a sense of separation, or we obtain thoughts from the mind of God, which is called inspiration. When we're seeking to activate potential, we become available to obtain thoughts called inspiration. The presence of God is thinking through us. We're inspired. We go beyond the three dimensions. And there's something very painful about individuals that are dimensionally challenged, that only live in 3D and live according only to the five senses and what they can smell and taste and touch and hear and see. Very painful life. We're not dimensionally challenged when we live a surrendered life and seeking to activate our potential. As multidimensional beings, we become privy to the thought of the presence, its inspiration that pulls us to a greater expression of reality. And the potential that is within us becomes activated. Think about this for a moment. You want to activate your potential. Now, what is the gift of that? Bliss. Whenever potential is activated, we get bliss hits. Many people they're not even aware that bliss exists. They just want a kind of a pseudo happiness based upon circumstances in their life being a certain way or plans going the way they want them to. But bliss is something else. Bliss is the activation of your potential that grants you a perfect peace of mind. As scripture says, those whose eyes are upon me, I grant them perfect peace. A peace of mind that passes human understanding and a great degree of bliss regardless of circumstances. Many people don't get that. They only have a pseudo happiness based on everything being the way they want it to be. But when you live to activate potential, bliss, ecstasy, a joy. You've seen it in the Swami's face, his countenance, his smile.